The management of the organization, which will look at the impact, the accountability, and so on.
I think you want to come in on this. The point is, you might have the passion, you might have the vision, but you may not have the structure, the skill set that's required to run a place, and you may not have the capabilities to create an institution, and therefore the funder is really not convinced about your idea.
I think one of the big issues for us in our local sustainability is really creating this paradigm shift in how people look at philanthropy. At the moment, I think in India, 90% of donation goes to religious organisations. So it's really convincing people that potentially the corporate world, but the civil, but society and the community that what you do is impactful and effective. I do believe that NGOs have a responsibility to communicate the transference of value to the broader community, and I think that's a responsibility we need to build on, because then I think people in Mumbai can afford magic buses, Delhi can afford magic buses. Just how I'm able to communicate that value and how the communities see that value.
Every achievement is not an end, but the beginning of a new journey. SR. Let's begin.
Of India, the banker to every Indian.
I love tennis, smells 40 spice. When I leave a room, I turn off the lights.
चप्पड़ ना हो तो रीडिंग लैंप चलाता हूँ, लिल करके एनर्जी बचाता हूँ.
I'm a rock star and I love to jive, लेकिन lights क्यों जलाऊं when it's bright outside?
हमें कहना है ये, you listen to us. Power saving is a real, power saving is cool. Energy resources are getting scarce. Save electricity, save environment. For more information, log on to www.bee-india.nic.in.
Why should you have to share? At Angel Broking, you get service truly personalized.
भारतीय डाक आम आदमी के साथ। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मनी ऑर्डर के जरिए पैसे शहर से गांव तुरंत पहुंचते हैं। अब बेटी की फीस भरने में देरी नहीं होती।
डाकघर के जरिए महात्मा गांधी राष्ट्रीय ग्रामीण रोजगार गारंटी योजना से पाए रोजगार के पैसे सुरक्षित मिल जाते हैं।
भारतीय डाक, बदलते वक्त के साथ बदलता डाकघर। आपका इंडिया पोस्ट, आज का इंडिया पोस्ट।
Say yes to growth. Yes Bank.
MRF. The tires we race are the tires you buy.
Really, what are the reservations that a funder has when he meets an NGO? What does he want to see?
Yeah, so I've been wearing both side hats. You know, I've been in organizations where we have been seeking funding, and I've obviously been on the side where I'm funding organizations. I think today to answer the first question you asked, in India it is incredibly difficult to raise long-term sustainable money for your work. And that's because it's very hard to convince funders about what you're doing. That, as I said earlier, social change takes time and we don't get results so fast. Now if I wear the hat of seeking funding, it's very hard to convince people to have the trust to support NGOs long enough, to help them build the capacity and to stay with them long enough. It's a very difficult thing. We need Indian donors and philanthropists to open up their pockets much more, stay much longer with fledgling NGOs who are genuinely trying to make a sustainable difference. And as a funder, I would say I'm a bit concerned about the new kind of the new philosophy that is coming into this space, which is creating a very definite and somewhat borrowed metric model to suit Indian NGOs. And I find many of the poor NGOs running around trying to create their performance, get their monitoring reports, etc. organized, and taking time off from what they need to do. So I think as a funder, I'm much more sensitive to that, and I like to give people time to do what they are best at, which I can't do, which is empowering their community. So I think we need to be sensitive to that as funders.
Well, let me comment from the point of view of a practitioner, because I am a businessman. Challenge for somebody that is running an effective NGO is actually that the social capital markets, the way in which funds and users meet in the philanthropic space, is a totally dysfunctional market.
Why do you say that?
Because this market does not clear on either performance or achievement. It clears on other factors. And so this is, I think, a very important lesson for philanthropy. How philanthropy works most of the time is totally contrary to how a commercial capital market works. So I think there's what I think of as the Columbus effect. Many times, Christopher Columbus hit upon these shores and he said, "I've discovered America." America was actually there for a long time with lots of people living for thousands and thousands of years. So often philanthropy, a philanthropist with the best of intentions on a course that he or she cares, finds something and thinks that this is their organization, this is the solution, and it may be the worst performing NGO in that space. The second one is one of the sin of looking things at 30,000 feet. So a lot of philanthropists say, "I'm interested in a problem," and then gets together a group that says, "We found the solution for this problem." And then they say, "Let me go and find who's going to do it for us." This is exactly like the California pension plan that says, crisis has happened. We think that turnarounds are good. Let's find somebody who will do the turnaround of GM. Everybody here in this room being in business would know that that's absurd. The right way to do it is to say, let's invest in a turnaround specialist for whom this is their expertise. In philanthropy, it's the opposite. And so I think the greatest challenge for an effective NGO is trying to operate in a market that can recognize how well they achieve mission, because these are all mission-driven organizations.
Several international agencies, funding agencies, are now turning down requests from India because we're growing. Because India is not a poor country anymore, because we have apparently reached developed status or getting there. I read a report